Steam scams, the cockroaches of gaming. You probably see one every day if you have an item worth more than $50. And this is probably not news for you, but still, you probably don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
All right, so I'm MattCS. I'm 22 years old. I've been doing CSGO YouTube for about 6 years. I started on YouTube by making montages and eventually scam trolling videos. I have scammed in the past myself and decided to make videos about how scammers do their work to inform people about these scams. And eventually, it led to me being a full-time YouTuber. And now I just make CSGO content.
The first ever recorded Steam scam attempt, according to SteamRep, was in 2012 over some TF2 items. The first ever Counter-Strike Global Offensive scam attempt, again according to SteamRep, was on the 23rd of August 2013, which is a couple of weeks after tradable skins and goods were released in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Whilst researching, I noticed a pattern, or a timeline if you will. 2014 to 2015 was the time in CSGO when the social engineering scams were prevalent. Team Fortress 2 predates that, as social engineering scams in the TF2 community have existed since 2012. After 2015, the CSGO community almost exclusively went to being scammed automatically, not with the use of direct social engineering face-to-face lying. All of this happened after the release of skins in the ARMS deal update in 2014. So that's our segue to today's topic. The short times in which the bigger portion of scam attempts were on a personal scale, with social engineering being heavily in use. Let's talk about the period that I call the good old days. If you don't know, MattCS is a renowned Counter-Strike YouTuber who happens to have been dabbling in scamming in this time period. I'd like to mention that he has long quit scamming, and he's an all-around very cool dude. If you'd like to hear the full interview, it's on my podcast, link in the description. So let us listen to the story of how did he used to do it.
What is that website again? The marketplace one.
CSGO Lounge.
Yeah, Lounge. Back when it was good.
Yeah.
Basically, they listed an item as factory new. I traded it. It was minimal wear, a battle scar, so I lost a lot of money on that. That was my first time ever getting scammed. I didn't check the float values and the value of the items, so got scammed for that amount of money. And I was like, damn, if scamming is this easy, I'm gonna try it out myself. So what I did was I made a new Steam profile and I simply just started adding people from in-game or lounge and talk to them, and then try and buy their items. Just make a fake profile, get a fake Steam level, join a few groups where you can get fake rep. It was super easy, all set up in a day. And then I just went on and asked people if I could buy their items with my fake persona.
I guess you could say that this scam is not really technically difficult to set up and run. Therefore, a lot of people hungry for free stuff must have done it as well. Well, you would be absolutely correct if you thought that. If you were around on Steam at around 2012-2015, you may remember this period, as this type of scam happened regularly back then. What do I mean by this type of scam? Well, we can take a look at the scams that used to happen around that time and see that they have two main parts: finding a victim and then successfully lying to them and manipulating them for them to give you their items. Both things were heavily experimented with in an attempt to find the foolproof way to fool people. So let us look at some scam examples and try to generalize them into categories. So let's start with MattCS's story. He found victims off of CSGO Lounge, a Counter-Strike marketplace. Pretty common tactic. Finding people who trade high price items increases your reward as well as the risk of you being exposed as a scammer. He used a quick switch scam vector, which means that he offered a certain wear to the victim, for example factory new, switched it out during the trade offer for one which costs a lot less, for example battle scarred in most cases, turning the trade into a scam. So basically, quick switching worked when there were live trade offers on Steam. Now you can only send a trade offer, the other person has to review it and therefore accept, counter, or decline the offer. There is no such thing as live trade offers anymore, so basically this scam is essentially dead. So I'd like to take a look at the three main ways to find victims. So first off, we have the trading sites and groups. Also, gambling sites fall into this division, but they're a little bit different. Anyways, scammers usually target communities whose premise is to circle around high-priced skins and items. Therefore, trading sites and gambling sites are the perfect targets for scammers to find their victims and scam them out of their items. We have the second one, which is personal scouting. Say you have an item that you want. You scout Steam to find people who have it, and you check their profile and make sure that they look like their children or someone that is less experienced with this stuff, therefore more prone to fall for the scam. And after that, of course, you scam them, you tell them, you manipulate them, yada yada yada, and it works. You have the item. So the third one is random. Trying your luck with everyone you see. So your friends list, you make like 10 hops, you click the friend, then you click the first friend of that friend, then the friend of that friend of the friend, and so on and so on and so on, until you have no mutual friends with the person in front of you, and you just go at random. You do that. Arguably, the first method was the most popular, as it was the most effective and the lowest effort was required to go through with it. Of course, all according to my friends, and hundreds of scam reporters on SteamRep's website experience. Okay, let's move on with the most common scams back in the day. So, the second part of the scam, the lying part. So, I'll be using info from the sticky on r/Steam scams. If you are ever confused whether or not you've been scammed, or you want to know more information about some scams, please do join the subreddit or my server, or both, up to you, to get more help on the situation. So the first type of scam that we're going to look at is the impersonation scam. We could spend a whole day on the different variations of the scam, as it is again arguably the most prevalent one, so I will try to sum it up for you. They impersonate someone that has some authority. For example, a Steam moderator, or a Steam admin, or maybe even a gambling site owner, to trick you into giving up either your skins or your account altogether. So, for example, when Steam Gaben adds you on Steam and tells you he accidentally reported you, it's not actually Gabe Newell, it's some kid named Nathaniel in his mom's basement trying to scam you out of your skins and games for a quick buck. Or when Hellcase John adds you and tells you that he's gonna rig his new website, NeneCase.com, for you to win. It's not for your gain. He instead gets your skins that you deposited into his NeneCase.com website and runs off with them. So these scams are the worst ones, because when they steal skins you can't get them back, right? Because when they steal your account you can easily reach out to a Steam support and they will restore your account as soon as possible, but when they steal skins you can't get them back. So let's move forward into the real money scam. This is the second most common one that I've seen personally. And this is where the scammer will offer you, for example, a $50 Steam code for your $20 item. So they're gonna overpay a lot. So you're gonna be like, oh wow, he's crazy, I'm taking this. Like, this is easy money, right? But instead of you being the one who wins money, he does. By stealing your item and never delivering that code or PayPal payment that he promised. Another variation of the scam is that they will send you a Steam Pay credit, right? For example, a message among the lines of Steam Pay will credit your account with $50 after you accept this offer, along with their trade offer, which is obviously done by using this little field over here. And as you can see, this is just for messages and not for payments through Steam, so easy scam. So let's sum this video up by saying that in the good old days, scammers used to exploit you directly, face to face. Well, not quite, more like keyboard to keyboard, but still. So they would abuse psychological flaws of us humans in general. Most scams exploit at least one of these four. Number one, we got fear. When that Steam admin says that you're gonna get banned if you don't give him your credentials. Number two, we have greed. When that MattCS admin says he's gonna rig his website for you and you see dollars in your eyes, you see the money, and you get greedy. Three, we have trust. When Anomaly, the famous YouTuber, hits you up and tells you that he needs your Battlescar Navaja knife safari mesh for a video, and you give it to him without even checking whether or not this is his actual Steam account, if it's private, and whatever. There's a lot of signs that are pretty obvious when someone is trying to impersonate a famous YouTuber, for example. And four, we have ignorance. When you get 2 trade offers from CS Money, and you just click accept on one of them randomly without checking and clicking through the link through the website, and you just randomly pick one, and then you wonder how come you don't have credit in CS Money. These are qualities that every human being has. Therefore, everyone is more or less susceptible to being scammed with at least one of these methods. So what can we do to prevent these scams? Well, first off, Steam has done a lot to help us fight against these scams. For example, the live trade offers have been removed, which really helped with purging some of the scams that were only possible if the trade offer is live. But other than that, we just need to be less ignorant. That's why I bolded that word ignorance in the 4 things that are being majorly exploited in these scams. We need to be more aware of what we do in general. We need to just do a little bit more research and spend a little bit more time on everything that we do. And for example, if we were to trade our Karambit Fade, for example, like 1,500 euro, which isn't a little bit of money, if we were to trade it to a CS Money bot, we need to spend 3 more seconds to verify if this bot is actually the bot that we need to be sending the skin to, so we could get CS Money credits, which literally takes 3 seconds to check out if the hash in the message is the same as in the website, if you have a bunch of trade offers from a bunch of CS Money bots, which one is the real one, and stuff like that. Ever since economies were introduced in video games, there has been another growing problem. You know, scamming is one thing, but you know, when you have a scammer come up to you and tell you something, you have a chance of, you know, figuring out that this is actually a scam and you shouldn't be talking to this guy. But nowadays, there is no such thing as a scammer walking up to you. There is always a well-designed profile or a website or something like that that you don't even realize is a scam until it's too late. And scammers have been evolving ever since the good old days ended. And everything that we used to rely on, for example, Google and Steam, and we relied on Google when you type in CS Money, that actual CS Money will pop up and not a scam, or Bitskins or whatever. And now that the first search result is a scam, I'm starting to think that the things that we used to rely on are now obsolete, and now we need to do a lot more research than we used to have to do in the good old days, right? Because holy shit, we have to do so much actually to figure out whether or not a certain website is a scam or not. It's normal, but at the same time it's not, and it's sad, and it's really depressing that we have to go through a very rigorous process to figure out whether or not a site is a scam or a guy who's just trying to add us because, you know, we played a game of CS:GO together and we just refuse to add him because he might be a scammer. The whole thing is really depressing. But what if I told you that the complicated websites that pop up at the front of Google when you type in CS Money, which steal your credentials automatically once you enter them in, have existed since 2009, which is, to be exact, around 4 years before the social engineering good old days began. Stay tuned for the next episode of this series, where I will be covering the present of Steam scams and how they actually work and their history. Also, I'd like to make a really quick awkward pause to advertise my podcast once again. If you want to see the full, or at least more parts of the interview with MattCS, please go ahead and check out my podcast. It's on Spotify, on Anchor FM, and on some other platforms. Not on iTunes yet, so you gotta have Spotify and stuff. But anyways, check it out. I'm gonna be uploading a lot of stuff on it. If you want more info on it, you should go ahead and watch the first episode, or episode number 0, introduction, for you guys to get a little bit of an idea of what is going to be on this podcast. Anyways, thank you for watching, and you guys stay safe.